Welcome, ninth grade class. Uh, Wednesday morning. We are ready for math lesson 9.3, adding and subtracting rationals with unlike denominators. You work down through your examples. That will be the easiest way for you to understand this. Now I'm going to work two problems on the board and I'll talk about it, but anytime you get stuck, you refer back to your examples, take your problem and work it step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4 to get your answers. There are no shortcuts. Yeah, there is one shortcut, but I won't tell you about that one right now. So, how you all doing this morning? Are you ready to go? Ready for a big run? I suppose that you're still doing two problems from each section. That's still what's expected. I hope that you are being able to get what you need to get by just doing that amount. If you do have struggles with some of them, back up and do that extra problem. Or even like today, do extra practice. Wouldn't that be great? Okay, here we go. It's problem number 1. And it's 2 over x, or 3x, and 5 over 4x squared. The first step you need to do is just like you would work in fractions. You need to find the lowest common denominator. Now, it's not a whole lot different than what you do in fractions. You take the 3 and the x, and you break it apart. And you 3 times x. You bring it down to each individual number. And you do the same thing with the 2. Wait a minute, with the 4x squared. Do the 4x squared here. So you have your least common denominators. And you got 2, x, x. Now you combine them. And so what you have is just like you find for your least common denominator. You take the one that you had the most of. So here's a 3. I'll choose a 3. And I didn't write these all out because it's pretty simple. You can do it in your head. But the way you have to do is I'll take the 3. Here's the 2. I'll take both of these guys. And here's an x and here's an x. I can't take this x if I take these. And I want the most x's, so I'll take those. So when I'm done, I multiply together. 3 times 2 times 2, which makes me 12. 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12. And then I put my 2 x's. So my least common denominator, after I've factored them out, is 12 and x squared. Now, I told you there's no shortcuts. Now, in problems like this, you can do something. When they're simple like this, you can go 3 times 4 is 12. You use your fractional skills. And then you say x here and x here. You say, oh, I'll take the biggest one. And so you take the x squared. But what are you going to do if you get a y and a y cubed? A whole bunch of others, and I'll show you in a little bit why you can't do that. But for this problem, you could have found the least common denominator by multiplying your numbers together and choosing the largest exponent. That's not the safest way, though. Please understand, that's not the safest way. You need to understand this concept well before you start taking that shortcut. Now, the next step, once you found your least common denominator, you know that 12x squared is going to go in both of these spaces. The next question, though, is how are you going to know what to make your numerator if you have the 12x squared? Well, again, you factor them out. And so I put the 12x squared factored out right here. And then you take your 3x. I'm doing this first one. You take your 3x and factor him out, which we did it up here, but I just did it down here again so that you can see. And so anything that's in the 3x, I knock out. So the 3 I can knock out, and I can knock out 1x. So that leaves me with 2, 2, and x. So I combine 2 times 2 is 4, so 4x. 4x is the numbers that are not in this number here. So that's the numbers that I will use to multiply this. So here's my next step. So now I got 2 and 3x. It's just like a fraction. You take 4x and multiply it by 2. It makes you 8x, and then you go 4 times 3x. And you don't have to do this, but it's all right to check it. It had better come up to 12x squared to your least common denominator. But really what you're wanting to find out is your numerator, which is 8x squared. Now you'll just simply need to repeat this process again with the 4x. Now you cannot use your 4x like you did here. You'll need to use your 4x squared and put it with your least common denominator. So that's what I did over here. I did the same thing again here. I got my 4x and I broke it apart. I found my my factor, there we go, if I can say it. I factored it out. And I factored out the 12x squared, which is the same as over here. The 12x squared is here. I put those same numbers, 3, 2, 2, x, x. Now I started finding the numbers that match. So the 2 matches, the 2 matches, x matches, x matches. The only one in this one here is 3. So that makes it easy to multiply this one to get it in. So you multiply 3 times 4x squared, which, trust me, it had better come up to 12x squared or you're in serious trouble. And 3 times 5 is 15. Now we have got them ready to work with. So if you are looking at the board here, you can jump up and you see I took the 15 12x squared and put him here. And that my 8x squared that I had come up with here, my first number, I put him there. And this one here, I'll take him right around there, and I got him up to there. That makes sense? Now I've got this very same problem right here. After all this work, I've just simply got the problem with the least common denominator, or I have the denominators the same, if you want to say it in that way. Now I'm ready to add. Okay, so I of course the common denominator, I just moved it over. It's just like a fraction. You add your numerators. Well, can you add 8x and 15 together? No. Now, if they would have both been x, you could have, but you cannot add a number with an exponent and an exponent. You can't add those together. So I just combine them. 8x plus 15. That's your answer. So it's more or less, should I say, combining answers more than what it's adding. That's what it is. Now, which other problem would you like for me to do on today's lesson? All of them? Well, yeah, I'm sure you want me to do all of them, but I'm not going to. Which one looks like the biggest for you? I think I've done the smallest so far. 5. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 5 does look like he's pretty big. Okay, hang on. Here we go. I can't believe that you chose the very problem that I have worked out over here on this side of the board. Did you look around the corner of the screen, or how did you know that I had done number 5? I knew you was going to ask for that one. Okay, so you got 4 over x squared negative 5x plus 6, and then 5. I copied the problem right here. I crammed a little more because this problem is just a little bit bigger. But if you look, right here is your problem. Now, factoring out this problem wasn't hard. You've done trinomials into binomials. You break your x apart, x. You can do this fast, okay? But you have negative 6, so that positive answer, that means both of these signs will be the same, and you wanted the answer to add up, your factors needed to add up to negative 5, so 2 and 3 add to negative 5, so I broke it apart. Here I did the same thing. I'll just come over and do this one quickly. x squared and x squared. No, sorry. You have x here, x squared. Now you take the positive 4, your two factors have to equal negative 4. So that's not hard, they have to be the same. It's negative 2 and negative 2. So now I choose, and I've done some shortcuts here. I choose the greatest common factor. I'm going to choose the x3 because the least common denominator, if I say it right, not the greatest common factor. Have I been saying greatest common factor all along? I hope not. If I did, I'm wrong. It's the least common denominator. Is x negative 3, and I don't choose this one because there's two of them here, so I bring them down to here, and that one there I just throw him out. So it's x negative 2 is my least common denominator. It's x negative 3, x negative 2 squared. Get that squared there on there. Don't forget that because there's two of them here. Now, that's my bottom number right there. So, I did a real quick, I did a shortcut for you. And the shortcut is that I know that this one and this one, so to figure this guy here, which I use these numbers here again, you no longer use a trinomial. Throw him as far as you can throw him, because you broke it down to and factored it out. It's the same answer, okay? It's the same, but you no longer use the try. So now you bring this down, and I would look up here, and I'd say, up here I've got an x and an x2. So what am I missing? I'm missing an x2 from my least common denominator. My least common denominator has two of these guys, and I only have one here. So automatically, I did a little shortcut. Instead of factoring them out, I said x2 is what's missing from here, that's in here. So I just multiplied x2 times this, and gets my least common denominator. x2 times 4, set up and take notice. I went 4 times x is 4x. 4 times negative 2, 2 4s is 8. Opposite signs, negative 8. So now I have this answer right here, up here. So just hang on to that one, and let's do this answer. Again, I'm going to do that little shortcut trick. I asked myself, in this answer here is 5x negative 2, x negative 2. So I moved it down here. I've got the 5 on top, and x negative 2, x negative 2. And I asked the question, what's missing in this in my least common denominator? Okay, you tell me. Oh, well, you can see now, x negative 3. X negative 3 is what I need to multiply. So x negative 3 times this here makes this number here again. You see, it's just a lot of repeating, okay? Once you get this and work a couple of them, you get this in your head, it just goes bing, 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 bing right down the road. So it's not a terrible, I'm talking, and it's not that hard to do. Now don't get your stuff mixed up, but do the right thing at the right time. Now x plus 5 times x3 again, 5 times x, 5x. 5 times negative 3 is 15 negative. You got it? 15 negative. So here I've got this problem, and here I've got this problem, and these are my two problems here. So I put them up here and I put them together one time. Okay? So if you look, I put my 4x here, my negative 8 here. I put my 5x here, and negative 15 here. Now, wait a minute, did you see that? I never even mentioned that. Look back here. This is not even an addition problem. This is a subtraction problem. Whoa! Watch out. Okay, I did pick the hardest one. Well, watch out. When you go do here, you're going to be so busy finding the least common denominator, breaking them down, multiplying, that you're going to forget what you're supposed to do. So when you get down to this point here, be sure to look at the book and say, oh, number 4 I subtract, and number 5 I subtract, and yeah, number 6 I add. Okay, now you have your least common, make sure I say this right, least common denominator here. And so what you're going to subtract is this top, 4x and 5x. Now, a subtraction sign means that to subtract these guys, you need to change your denominators, okay? So now this is not just a piece of cake, okay? So now you have, if this is a positive 5, which it is here, when I move it up here, I make this, maybe I should have wrote it over here on the side, 4x subtract 5x, and I should make him a negative sign. I should change him. And so that makes me a 1x. And I won't mention your name, but one of you in 9th grade, and you will know who it is when you pick up your test, still likes to put 1x. I don't want to see 1x again on your paper, okay? I'm going to scold you. Next time I'll call your name out on the video. It's just x. It's not proper to ever put a 1 in front of an x or an n or a y or a z or whatever your exponent is. Okay, so it's negative x because it's negative 5 from 4 makes you negative x. Now you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to have the 15. Now erase this here. I know you're looking back here at the answer, but you don't know how I got the answer. You got negative 8, and then you have negative 15, and it's a subtraction problem. So you'll have to make it a positive 15, and use your addition rules. The addition rules is opposite signs, subtract. So that means I will subtract 8 from 15, which makes me 7. And I use the greatest signs, positive. So my answer is positive 7. Oh, I'm standing in the way here. My answer is negative x, positive 7 over x3, x squared, or x negative 2 squared. Now you've combined that one. There was a little more work into that one. All right, you have fun doing the other, what's the other 4 left there? And again, if you get stuck on one of them, go back and you have 2 examples. Follow those 4 steps down the line and you should have no problem figuring them out. You have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow.